dugsiga boardingka iyo maalinlaha ah ee Amano Boarding and Day School.
Welcome back, grade 7. This is me, teacher Hussein. I'll be taking you through a new lesson, which is about an onion. In our previous class, we discussed about the structure of an atom. We discussed about the elements, the first 20 elements of the periodic table. We defined what periodic table is. We also discussed about the ways to arrange an atom and its electrons in a form of shell. So today I'm going to take you through the ions, right? We're going to take you through the ions, right? Okay, in a neutral atom, that is to say, an atom that has neither gained nor lost electrons. Neutral means that atom does not lose electrons or it did not gain electrons. That neutral atom, the number of electrons is equal to the number of protons. The number of electrons is equal to the number of protons, yeah? Number of protons is equal to electrons. Yeah. So the number of protons and the number of electrons are equal, right? Therefore, the negative charge of the electrons is cancelled by the positive charge of protons. Let us take, for example, we have lithium. We have lithium. Lithium has 3 electrons. 3 electrons. And the charge of the electron is minus, so it has -3. It also have 3 protons. It also has 3 protons, right? 3 protons. And protons have positive charge, so 3. If we add these two, -3 plus 3 equals 0, right? Minus plus, they cancel each other. So the number of electrons and the number of protons, when they are equal, they cancel each other, and the overall charge of the atom becomes what? 0. 0 means neutral. It's not negative, it's not positive. So when the atom is neutral, that's to say it does not lose electrons or it does not gain electrons, the overall charge is 0. Hence the overall charge of the atom is 0. That is to say neutral, right? That is to say neutral, right? Okay. Sometimes the atom gains or loses electrons. It sometimes gains electrons from other atoms, and sometimes it loses electrons to other atoms, right? This causes a difference between the number of negative electrons, and we said the charge of the electrons is negative, and the positive protons. In our previous slide, we explained that in a neutral atom, the number of protons and the number of electrons are equal, and they cancel each other, right? And they cancel each other. This changes the overall charge of the atom into positive or negative. Negative. It depends, right? When an atom becomes positive or negative, by either gaining or losing electrons, we call it an ion. So what's an ion? What's an ion? The atom, we know, when it loses or gains electrons, it becomes an ion. So an ion is an atom that has either gained or lost one or more electrons, right? I think that is understandable and very easy, right? That's understandable and very easy. Okay. Now let's come to chemical reaction. A chemical reaction takes place when atoms in some of the atoms that and what takes place when atoms take part in a reaction. Some of the atoms in the reaction gain electrons, and while others lose them, right? So, in a chemical reaction, there combines two elements, two atoms of a different charge. One is negative, one is positive, meaning one has extra electrons and one is devoid of electrons. Devoid meaning it has lost its electrons, and the other one has gained electrons, right? This results in negative and positive charges. When one loses electrons and the other one gains electrons, this creates a difference in charge distribution. One becomes positive, the other one becomes negative, right? The other one becomes negative. This results in negative and positive charge. These different ions will attract each other, and thus a new compound is formed. A new compound is formed, right? A new compound is formed. For example, let's say we have sodium. We add it with chlorine, right? We add it with chlorine. Sodium loses one electron, right? Sodium loses. We have sodium plus chlorine. Sodium loses one electron and it becomes positive. The electron that sodium has lost comes here, and this electron, and then it becomes what? Negative. Why does this become positive and this become negative? Let me explain that. For example, sodium has 11 positive electrons and 11 protons and 11 negative electrons. When we subtract them, it is 0. What if it loses one electron from here? So here it becomes what? 10. Now subtract. It becomes what? It becomes 1. It becomes 1, right? The sign, when we subtract these two, the 11 has plus and the 10 has negative. When we subtract them, we have 1, difference 1, and the sign will be positive because 11 is the bigger number. Usually when we subtract numbers, the sign of the answer is usually the sign of the bigger number. So it's positive. That's why sodium has positive. An electron is quite the opposite. It has 17 protons and 17 electrons. If we subtract them, it is 0. When another electron, when it gains an extra electron, here becomes what? Here becomes still the protons remain 17 positive, right? The protons are still 17, right? But electrons become what? 18. If we subtract them, 18 minus 17 is 1, and the sign is what? Negative 1. Why? Because the bigger number has minus. 18 has minus. So it is this one. Okay. So when sodium is positive and chlorine is negative, this negative positive attracts this negative, and now new compound which is called sodium chloride is forming. They attract because they are different. Usually, even in magnetism, we studied that likes repel, unlikes attract. So these are unlikes. The sodium has positive, the chlorine has negative. They have different charges. One is minus, one is plus. Then they attract, right? They attract, and they form what? They form a compound, right? Compound. The formed compound has the characteristics which are different from the characteristics of the reactants. These are the reactants: sodium and chlorine. This is more acidic. This is more basic, right? So this has the characteristics of bases, and these are the characteristics of acids. So the compound formula is of neutral, it's neutral, and it has characteristics different from the characteristics of these both. Okay. Now we're going to have an example of chemical reaction here. Let's see an example of chemical reaction. This is a word question. Sodium plus chlorine. Sodium plus chlorine Okay, sodium plus chlorine. This is the word equation. Sodium plus chlorine is sodium chloride. This is the chemical equation. This is the sign of sodium. Sodium. Why do we have Na in sodium? Because this is the Latin. It's natrium, right? It's natrium. So this is Latin, right? Natrium. Chlorine is sodium chloride, right? This is sodium. This is sodium chloride, right? When these react together, sodium loses its outer electrons, and the chlorine gains the outer and the electrons lost by the sodium. That's what I've explained. The positive sodium and the negative chlorine then form the compound sodium chloride, right? Now let's see them. Let's see it in a diagram. Okay, let's see it in a diagram. So we have sodium atom, we have chlorine atom. Sodium has one electron in its outer shell, right? Sodium has how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So sodium loses this electron to chlorine. So sodium has now how many shells? Now here they have what? 1, 2, 3. 3 shells. But when it loses one electron in its outer shell, there is only one electron. When it loses that electron, this shell is removed, and now it has only 2 shells, right? Chlorine gains the electron. You see the red color? It's up here. Now it's gained. Now this is sodium chloride. This is sodium chloride. This is sodium chloride, right? This is sodium